The Department of Education once again say that the education of our children is vitally important, yet they have numerous teacher training days off. Why am I saying this? We're going to find out. Are schools now a place for teaching children, or fast becoming a strict regime? Coming up next. Father John Platt has won a landmark battle against the Department of Education. Now, we're all aware of this news by now, I suspect. He was fined £60 for taking his daughter out of school without the permission of the school. The fine was then doubled because he refused to pay the fine. But as always, the local authority thought they were right and decided to appeal when the case went to High Court. Lord Justice Jones and Mrs Justice Thirlwell dismissed the council's challenge, ruling that the magistrates had not erred in law when reaching their decision. They decided there was no case to answer because there was no evidence to state that his daughter had not gone to school regularly. Here is John Platt after the hearing.
I'm very pleased. I think it's a very sensible judgment. It wasn't a complicated matter. Ultimately, the arguments put forward on behalf of the Isle of Wight Council amounted to, as the judge spelt out, if he was to believe and take it to its natural conclusion, their arguments, a single day's absence from school amounted to a criminal offence, and no court was ever going to agree that that was what regularly meant for the terms of the Education Act.
If a child skips school during term time, parents face a £60 fine. That doubles to £120 if it's not paid within 3 weeks. If you fail to pay completely, we face a fine of £2,500 following prosecution, or up to 3 months in prison, to which parents are being criminalised for wanting to spend time with their own children. It has been proven via parenting.co.uk, and you can check this out for yourself, that taking a child on holiday in fact strengthens productivity. Kids are put under an immense amount of stress while at school with regards to tests and coursework. Take the SATs for example. These tests are not even geared towards improving the child's mental faculties, although the school would have you believe that, but more towards the school proving that they are performing to enable them to secure more funding. All this pressure has been proven to disappear with the inclusion of a holiday. Parents, though, are made to pay sometimes double the amount for a holiday taken during the allocated time for school holidays. Children again have been proven to perform better and demonstrate better productivity when returning to school after a holiday. This whole case and the setup of the fines is by no means focused on better education for children, but more geared towards the schools and the government making more money, yet again, off the backs of the parents. If the system was geared towards making sure the children were better educated, why do full-time teachers have a working schedule of 195 days a year, which may be reduced to 185 if the school uses its school development days? A teacher has on average 19 hours of timetabled teaching. They have 13 weeks of holidays a year. The 6 weeks holidays, though, originated in the days of the Victorians. It wasn't designed to give kids a holiday, but for them to go to work. It ties in with the agricultural calendar. They were needed to work the land and harvest fruit. So if their education really was that important, change it, because it seems that the Education Board can change anything. They are now going to change the law after this case. They are taking their findings now from this case and taking them to the government. But here's an idea. Why don't the government work towards relations with the big tourist companies in reducing prices for holidays when the children are out of school? The prices are hiked right up during the holidays, but what baffles me, what do I get different for paying more money? Quite often, nothing. They escalate the price because they think that is the only time they think that parents will go. But the prices are that high, parents are paying the fines. In the academic year of 2014 and 2015, the number of fines issued to parents for an unauthorised absence was 50,414. The value of these fines issued were £3 million, and the average price hike of getaways during the school summer holidays was at 60%. And they keep mentioning that they are now going to have chaos with parents pulling children from school. But may I remind you, parents are not stupid. They too value the education of the children. I know I do mine. And we didn't have chaos before. Not once though did they congratulate Mr. Platt for the level of his daughter's attendance. In fact, Mr. Baker from the Education Board, in an interview, in my view, is really frustrated by what happens. Continually blinking, quickly holding hands in front of him, and really shallow and quick breathing. Check this out.
Mr. Baker, you must be very disappointed. It's going to be quite difficult to stop parents now taking their children out of school for holidays during term time.
I think you're quite right, but what we wanted today was clarity and guidance, clear guidance on what the law meant. And I'm afraid we've got the absolute opposite to that. Really, we've got a situation where, yes, without recourse, it looks as if parents can now take their children out of school for maybe up to 3 weeks a year. We've got a clearly shown in court was a link between education attainment and attendance. So my worry is that those children who are taken out of school will suffer in their education, but it will also have a knock-on effect on the education of those who remain in the classroom and their planned activities, and also the work of teachers in the classroom. I understand that the government have already indicated they're going to look at this. I would certainly urge the Department of Education to do so urgently. One thing that happened in there was that the courts effectively rejected the Department of Education's view on what constitutes regular attendance. And I think that's got to be a concern. We've got to get this tidied up, and that's all we've been trying to do throughout this process.
Mr. Platt, what's your reaction to that?
Sorry, Jonathan, that's not, I was in the same court as you. When you say the Department for Education's definition of regular attendance, what you mean is the person who responded to my Freedom of Information Act request, a very junior person in the Department for Education. You know, if the Department for Education honestly believed that regular attendance at school meant every single day, they would amend the legislation overnight. Section 444 wouldn't read a parent commits an offence if a child attends school regularly. It would say a parent commits an offence if the child misses any day at school without lawful reason. They could change it overnight, but that's not their position. MPs are not going to line up in the lobbies to criminalise hundreds of thousands of parents for taking their kids on holiday. It's never going to happen. You know, that's why we have primary and secondary legislation. Primary legislation goes before Parliament, and MPs have to put their democratic mandate on the line, and if parents don't accept that, they will be removed from office. And what they want to do is do it by the back door. What they want to do is say, well, we'll set the threshold as regularly, but we'll, in the Department for Education, construe that as every single day. And the judge said it can't possibly be every single day, because if it was every single day, the legislation would say every single day.
School is for education, for preparing the next generation in the combat of life, not a strict regime that if you don't toe the line, you face the strictest of consequences. Here is Mr. Baker from the Governing Board, again avoiding a question.
So this is a mess, effectively, now, for schools, for local authorities. Like, will you keep sending out fixed penalty notices now? I think we need to think about where this case and the judgments given today leaves us. I don't think I can give an answer to that question today until we've actually reviewed the position.
He can't answer because he knows the reaction he will receive over this. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Are you going on holiday soon? Are you going to pay the fine? Click on the thumbs up, and as always, click subscribe, and I'll see you next time.